With this video, our objective is to enter data into the calculator and then find the measures of center. So to begin with, we've got a problem, and this comes from your textbook on page 118, problem number 2. And it deals with the number of short-term parking spaces at 15 airports. So we're given this information and we're asked to find the mean, median, mode, and mid-range. Of course, we know the formulas for those four and are able to compute those, but I'd like to show you a shortcut using the calculator. To begin with, since this is statistics that we're working with, if you'll notice on your calculator, over here there's a key that's labeled stat. So we're going to press that key, and this is where we'll enter in our data. Notice the very first thing that comes up is edit, and then we've got sort. After edit, we can sort ascending a list or sort descending, or we can clear a list or set up the editor. Okay, so the very first thing we're going to do is just edit. So we're going to put some things in a list. So we're going to press enter. And as you notice, I've got some things already in list 1, and I really would like to clear that out and put in this new information from the problem. So to do that, if you'll notice here at this bottom line, that's telling you list 1, item 1 in the list is 7. So if I want to clear the list, I've got to move up. So I'm going to press the up arrow and get the cursor sitting up here. See where it's shaded L1? And if you'll notice down here as well, we've got all the items in the list, 7, 5, 4, 16, and so on. But if I press the clear key, all those items are gone. Now they still appear to be there, but when you arrow down, those items are no longer in list 1. So now we have a clear list to work with. So we're going to type in our numbers. We've got 750. So we type that entry in, hit enter, and we go through our list same way. 900, enter, 9,239, 3,400, 8,662, 690, 1962, 260, 9,822, 700, 1479, 1131, 203, 5,905, and 2,516. Now if you'll notice here at the bottom where it says L116, we're waiting to type in our 16th item. So that means we've typed in 15 entries. Suppose that we forgot an item. Suppose we were also supposed to have another 203, and it was over here somewhere. We had in our list 203, and I need to add that to handwriting's pretty bad. I need to add that to that list. I can either add it at the bottom of the list here, 203. Oops. Let me go back. 203. Enter, and it puts it there. Or if I wanted to put it beside of the other 203, we could delete this item. We just arrow back and get on the item first and delete that. If I wanted to insert it, that 203 here beside of 203 in my list, I do a second delete. Right above that in blue is insert, and then I could type in the 203 that we have here, enter, and I included that in my list. And now when I arrow down, notice that I've got 16 items in the list. Okay, so I'm going to go back and delete that because I want to use the problem 2 as it's in your textbook. So I'm just going to go back up here to 203, press delete. That deletes that one item. And let's also, we're going to erase that off our screen up here as well. Okay. Let's see if I can do this. Alrighty. So now, to calculate the mean, let's press that stat key again. When we pressed that stat a while ago and we went to edit list 1, we put in our information in list 1. Now we want to calculate, and on that list, so I'm going to arrow to the right. That gets to the next part of my menu, and there's lots of calculations that we can do. Where our focus is going to be on this very first one where it says one variable stat. So to select that, we just press enter. And then the calculator asks us, okay, what list are you using? And we're using list 1, so we're going to select that, enter. Frequency list, well, everything's just counted one time, so we don't have to put anything there, just hit enter. And now we're ready to calculate, enter. Now, in calculating the mean, if you recall, the definition is to find the sum of all 15 values and then divide by 15. Well, notice up here on our display, we've got sigma x. That is the total of all 15 values, that 47,619. But up here above that, x bar is the mean. So we're going to write that in our problem. So this is 3,174.6. That's the average. As we scroll down through this calculator screen, notice that we've got the sum of the x squares. So if we squared every term and added it up, that would give us this total. We have two values here that are very similar. These are standard deviations. And the S sub x stands for the sample standard deviation. And sigma sub x stands for the population standard deviation. And we're going to look at that a little later. Notice next on the screen is N, which is 15. And what do you think that represents? The number of items. And if you'll notice, there was an arrow there, so if we arrow down, we can see some more information. So I'm just going to arrow on through that. And it tells me that the minimum value in my data was 203. I've got a quartile, a median, a third quartile, and a maximum. Okay. So now, if I'm asked to calculate the median, well, it's listed right here on my screen, right there. So I'm going to write that in under median, 1,479. Now, you didn't see the mode anywhere, but we do see the min and the max. And to find the mid-range, right here, remember our rule is min plus max, and we divide that by 2. So we're going to add 203 plus 9,822 and divide by 2. So that's 203. I'll just do it over here on my calculator. 203 plus 8,922 and divide that total by 2. And so our mid-range is 4,562.5. Now, for the mode is the value that occurs most often. And usually you can see that in your data. Sometimes it's hard to see, though, if you have a lot of numbers. So it may help if we go back to stat and tell the calculator sort this for us. Put these numbers in order. So we're going to choose number 2, sort ascending, and tell it we want to sort list 1. Now, if you'll notice right above the number 1 in blue, it says L1. So to access that, we just press the second 1, and that types in list 1 for us, and then we can close off the parentheses and type in enter, and it's done that for us. So now our list 1 is in order. So our list 1, we'll go back to that, press the stat key, and under edit, and now it's taken list 1 and put it in order for us, so maybe we can easily identify if we have a mode in this list of information. So with all these values, do we have a mode? No. Okay, so this is none, no mode. Make sure you don't put 0, okay, because the mode's not 0. Okay, and that's it. Just put your information in list 1 and then go back and use the stat key. That's right here, the stat key. And when you press the stat key to edit a list, that's at this choice under edit. And then to calculate, you just arrow to the right 1 variable stat.